Hello, this is Ellie Nieves, and I am a women's leadership speaker and coach, and I'm also the founder and president of Leadership Strategies for Women. Welcome to Christian Career Women Live. Christian Career Women is an initiative of leadership strategies for women. At Christian Career Women, our goal is to help women of faith to aspire, achieve, and thrive in their careers and their personal lives. And we invite you to join our free online community by going to christiancareerwomen.com. Today, we are joined by Denise Walsh. Denise has helped over 1 million people to find their purpose and fulfill their God-given destiny. Denise is a proud mom. She is a wife. She is a former clinical psychologist, and she's also a $1 million earning serial entrepreneur. And she's also the author of the book, Design Your Dream Life, where she empowers readers with the tools to live with joy and fulfillment in every area of their lives. Denise, welcome to Christian Career Women Live.
Hi, Ellie. Thank you so much for having me.
So I'm really excited to get to know you better. So we would love it if you could share a little bit more about yourself.
Absolutely. Okay. So as you mentioned in the bio, I have been an entrepreneur for over 12 and a half years. But prior to that, I was a clinical psychologist, and I got into the field of psychology. I think it really was born from being a camp counselor. I loved going to camp as a kid, and I ended up being a camp counselor in Asheville, North Carolina, as well as in New York. And when I was in New York, I worked with inner city foster kids, and they'd bus the kids to camp, and we'd work with them for 7 days. And because of their situation, a lot of times they would go home for the weekend and then come back. So we got to know the kids quite a bit. And I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, these kids don't know how awesome they are. And I felt like I could see them 3 steps ahead of where they saw themselves. You know, I saw the beauty in their gifts, and I knew that they had experienced so much life trauma at such a young age that I felt like I wanted to support them in really being their best self and knowing really just how much God loves them. And so I thought psychology was my best way to serve the world. I got into that field because I wanted to help people grow. I wanted to help people believe in themselves and work through some of the hard stuff that they had experienced. Well, it did not take long. I got my master's, I got my first job, and then I went through what I call my quarter life crisis, which is basically where I thought, I don't want to do this for the next 30 years. I mean, it was a burnout position. You know, I'm working with people that don't really want help in a situation that can't really help them. It was a lot of generational, really deep-seated stuff that I couldn't impact too much in 1 hour a month, you know? And so I started feeling this restlessness of this isn't it. Like I can do more than this. I can impact more than this, but I didn't know what that looked like or what that meant, because all I had known growing up was go to school, get a job, stay there for 30 years, and then retire. So I started looking for new jobs. I would, interview places, and I always came back to the fact, well, at least here I know the paperwork. And so even though I didn't love it, even though I didn't really want to be there, I stayed for far too long because it was comfortable. And I feel like so many people live in that tension for decades, like I don't really want to be here. I know I'm made for more. I know there's more to my life than just this, but I don't know how to get there, so I'm going to stay. And so thankfully, I was introduced to a business that I could just start working from home. And as I mentioned, being a clinical psychologist, I certainly wasn't a salesperson or marketer or business owner. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I just got started. And my husband was a aerospace engineer, and he was ready for something different too. So he and I both were able to get our feet wet with a business that we could work on our spare time, part-time. He ended up learning digital marketing, and I really loved coaching people. And so together we used our gifts and our skills and hit the top of our company, and then stayed there for over a decade. And then what's interesting is then, of course, everybody asks, what do you do? Tell me what you do. If I were a fly on your wall, what do you do? And so I thought, more than just my team needs access to this information. And so that's when I started writing Design Your Dream Life and creating my journals and e-courses and really creating products that's for anybody that's in the position that I was, right? Where it's like, I know I'm called for more. This isn't quite it, but I don't know how to make that transition or that pivot. And I'm a bit scared to do so. And so in the products that I've created, they're just really for anybody who's looking for their next step.
Great. So how did you make that transition from someone who was running a business to actually becoming a business coach?
Well, it happened naturally, honestly, because people just started asking. They started asking for support. They started seeing success, and they were asking for more. So I've been doing coaching within my team for a decade. And then, of course, as a clinical psychologist, that ends up being a life coach of sorts. And so now I'm just able to work with people that are not on my team, people that are just new entrepreneurs as well, that are looking to figure out, how do you build a funnel, and how do you connect with your dream client, and how do you grow your money mindset and really kind of step into this new identity of being an entrepreneur.
Great. So you're a fan of neuroscience, and there have been a number of
Yes.
books that have been written on neuroscience. Can you tell me how neuroscience is related to living a successful life?
Yes, this really is so fun for me because I learned cognitive therapy. I learned cognitive behavioral therapy. I learned, your thoughts become words, become actions, all of these things. I'd learned that. I had taught that for a long time. But when I really started digging into the research, I saw that it's not just talk, it's not just a nice poster or a thing to say, but it truly impacts the way your brain behaves. The way your brain behaves impacts the way your entire being, impacts the way you view the world, the way you view yourself. So you can think of a thought pattern. You see something that's triggering to you, and your thought immediately goes down the rabbit trail. We kind of call it gutter thinking, where if you think of bowling, it goes to the gutter and it stays there. And so what we can do with neuroscience is we can retrain our brain to create new neural pathways, meaning if we don't like that gutter and we know that it's not taking us in a direction that we desire. For example, we see this one person and we immediately get angry because it triggers a past emotion, and we stay there for 3 or 4 days because we are, quote, triggered. We can take control of that thought pattern. We can take control and create a new neural pathway that then impacts our emotions differently. And so what I found is that there's science backed up in this research. And then if we take it even further, Jesus taught us this whole time. I started reading the Bible with a whole new fresh set of eyes, realizing when he says, take your thoughts captive, and there's power in the tongue, he knows what he's talking about, and again, it's not just a flippant thing. It really impacts the way we view our day, the way we view our future, and it physically changes us from the inside out.
Mm-hmm. And, throughout your book, I noticed that you do chronicle some of your personal experiences. So kind of what led you on this journey of sharing about your personal life experiences and lessons with others?
Yeah. There's some vulnerable stories in there that I was nervous to share and talk about, really. But I know that people connect with stories. And I've always been somebody who learns and teaches. And so when I've had my own breakthrough and transformation, I've quickly gone to my team and to others and taught them what I've learned. And so I feel like I can give you facts and I can tell you, the 1, 2, 3 things to do to change your life. But when you emotionally connect with my story and you can see yourself in a similar situation, you're going to remember it more, and you're going to emotionally connect with the concepts in a way that will take you further, because you're kind of seeing my transformation through my own story in the book.
Great. And what inspired you, or why was it so important for you to take that whole mind, body, spirit approach as you were writing your book, especially when it comes to living successfully?
People ask me again, what do you do? What do you do? Tell me what to do. They ask for the perfect script, or the perfect closing line, or the perfect thing to post on social media that's going to go viral. And honestly, that's just not the right question to ask. I didn't find that there was one thing I said that was it. It was really the confidence I carried. It was me knowing what I wanted and believing it wholeheartedly and doing the work for it. And so it wasn't what I did, it was who I was that created the momentum, because I stuck with it for years, still sticking with it, right? And so when I'm working with people, I find they're often living in fear. You know, they want change, but they're scared of it, and they're not sure if they deserve it, and they're not sure if it's going to work for them. And so there's a lot of fear. So they may be doing the same action I am, but they're coming from a place of fear and insecurity, which then transfers to their prospect. And so my shift is not like, do this magic thing and it's going to blow up your business. It's like, you shift to become more of who you want to be, and you'll be doing the same actions, but you'll get massively different results.
So are there any special actions that someone should take in order to fulfill their dreams?
Yeah, I think in the Design Your Dream Life book, I teach the Dream Life pathway, which is the head, heart, feet, and then freedom approach, which is all about mindset, connecting with who they are, their life purpose, and then putting it on the calendar so you actually do it. And then we also have a whole section on freedom, you know, the emotional things that are tethering us to the past. But the one thing that stands out that is a barrier for a lot of us is we don't even know what we want, and we don't quite even know who we are. So if we don't know what we want, we're certainly not going to get it. And that's really what we spend a lot of time on too, is brain dumping and brainstorming what your dream 10 life would look like. Like, what do you really want? It's going to be different for all of us, but spend time really connecting with yourself and allowing those things to bubble up, because when you do, then you can start, you know, seeing yourself there. Then you can start putting things on the calendar that take you there. So the first step is knowing what you want.
Great. And, you know, as a clinical psychologist and also as an entrepreneur, one of the things that you highlight in your book is living a life of significance, living significantly. What is that, and why is it so important?
Yeah, you know, I've never been money driven. I find if I add value, the money comes. And so to me, success is in the eye of the beholder. You know, success for me is volunteering at school and picking my boys up every day at 3. Success for me is taking family vacations and living in my purpose and adding value to the world and creating an income that's legacy changing. And so to me, when I focus on significance, when I focus on adding value, when I focus on helping other people get better, I trust that the income will come too. So I find that it really is just a much more fun way to live, because I'm less focused on the how, and I'm less focused on the numbers, and I'm really more focused on how can I add more value to people and that help them grow, and I trust God with the rest.
Yeah. I really love 2 things that you've said. One, obviously the adding those things that are important to your calendar, because that's where we demonstrate the true commitment to something, right? When we actually make the time for it, we carve out the time and we make it happen. And then I also love just the fact that significance is more than just fulfilling some big dream that's somewhere out there. It can be us participating in those day-to-day, very important activities that are meaningful in our lives. Like you said, just picking up your children at school, right? Or spending that special time with an important friend of ours. That really is where the significance comes from. It comes from those day-to-day simple activities that are very meaningful and can add up to so much more in our lives and in the lives of others.
Absolutely. I think sometimes we think it has to be grandiose or, you know, huge, when really it's the small stuff that add up to a really lovely life. You know, I often say I love where I am and I know where I'm going, because I can live in gratitude and like seriously love my life, but also have a vision for the future that keeps me excited to grow.
It's wonderful. So you talk about the importance of someone's thought life, and you already talked about this briefly before, but can you just talk to us a little bit more about the importance of mindset?
Yeah. So this is another sciencey thing, so that's fun. But so what happens when we say you become what you think about? It truly is true. You become what you think about. And one reason for that is because you have this thing called the reticular activating system in the back of your brain, and it's your brain's filter. You can see there's like thousands of inputs, tens of thousands of input in the day, and your brain filters what it believes is the most important. And how does it know it's important to you? By what you're thinking about. So we can impact our reticular activating system by choosing what we think about and allowing it to show us the world in that way. So for example, if you go and look for a new car, maybe it's a yellow Beetle or something, and then all of a sudden you start seeing yellow Beetles everywhere. They probably were there before, but now your reticular activating system is showing it to you because it believes it's important. How many people have ever been pregnant and then all of a sudden they see pregnant people everywhere? You're like, whoa, where did you all come from? They've always been there, but now because you're thinking about it, you're seeing it more. So I want to impact what my reticular activating system shows me by thinking about the things that I want and really and training my brain to do so. So starting your day with gratitude, or really, creating your vision statement, your life purpose statement, and memorizing that and saying it consistently. All of those things will impact your mindset, which impact what you see in the world, because you're having an input on your reticular activating system.
Absolutely. So tell me how people can get a hold of your book, Design Your Dream Life.
Yeah, so it's available on Amazon, and then you can also go to denisewalsh.com and you'll see a link for it there.
Great. And what's next for you, Denise?
Ooh, good question. So there's always a new project, right? I'm actually working on Dream Space Online, which is my e-course. So it's my first e-course, which is it's my workshop, my full day workshop in an e-course form. So with Dream Space Online, we've got 3 sections: Spark, Release, and Dream. Spark is where we reconnect with who you are. Because again, people will tell me, I don't even know what I want for dinner. How am I going to know what I want in 3 years? So we want to reconnect with that spark inside. And then Release is all about letting go of the stuff that's holding us back, because like it or not, it is. And then Dream is, again, taking those dreams, putting it in one specific clear goal and putting it in the calendar. So each session has several worksheets that I walk you through in order to experience your own transformation. And that should be out in the next couple weeks.
That's great. So how can our viewers get in touch with you?
All right. Well, I do have a freebie for you guys, which would be really fun. And that's kind of how you get first dibs on everything. That freebie is an action planner, because again, a lot of times people will tell me a barrier is time. And so I want to help you reprioritize and set your calendar up for success. And you can get that at denisewalsh.com/action. So denisewalsh.com/action, but then I'm certainly on all social medias, Facebook and Instagram. I have a YouTube channel as well as my own podcast called Dreamcast.
That's wonderful. Denise, you've been an awesome guest. Thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing so much wisdom. And
Absolutely.
to all of our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, God bless.